Hello, my wonderful pen friends. Welcome back to the Pen Habit and this short review of some paper. Now, I don't do a lot of paper reviews on this channel, but I like to every now and again. And the review for today comes from a company in the UK called Central Crafts at centralcrafts.co.uk, and they sent along a journal to me to take a look at and to review. So like most pen people, I do like myself some paper, and I've got a few of my favorites that I go to on a regular basis. You know, for my daily journal, I use currently I'm using a Nanami paper 7 Seas Writer, which is filled with Tomaway River paper. I've used Franklin Christoph, journals, web notebooks, not web notebooks, but Franklin Christoph A5 notebooks for commonplace books and things like that. I've used the Rhodia web notebooks, which I've liked. I've used the Leuchtturm 1917s. But the thing about those is I don't really find any of them to be what I would consider archival quality. I mean, they are in terms of, you know, the paper, acid-free paper and that sort of thing, but they don't have any of the flair that would give me something that looks really great on a shelf. I feel like those are just a lot more kind of day-to-day average notebooks. I've actually been on the search for a new journal because I'm just about at the end of mine, and I want something nice and leather bound that looks like a book that would last through the generations, something that would fit in on a shelf in a lawyer's office kind of a thing. And I haven't really found anything that fits that bill for me that also contains fountain pen friendly paper. So when Central Crafts reached out to me and asked if I'd be interested in doing a review, they let me pick the journal I wanted. I found one that I wanted. They sent it to me free of charge. So that's the disclaimer, is this journal was provided free of charge. And so I've had it for a long time. I've been meaning to do a review for several months, and I finally got around to it. So the journal comes in this canvas bag, and that's a nice little touch, coming in this canvas bag and kind of protecting it. And inside the canvas bag is this. This is the Leatherkind Cortana journal. Leatherkind is an Italian manufacturer. The journals are, I believe, handmade, and they are really quite lovely. This one is the blue leather with this kind of, caramel colored edge here, which I think looks very, very handsome. It can be embossed. Now, I have seen another review of this where there was a Leatherkind brand on the back of the journal. Mine did not have that, and I believe those are common now. The newer ones from Central Crafts come with that Leatherkind brand stamp on the back. Mine did not, because mine was a fairly early one from them. It's the A5 size, or they call it the large size on the website. And it's really high quality leather. You can see it has picked up a little bit of a gouge because I've had it in a backpack and things like that. But aside from that, stitching is very, very high quality. Construction is fantastic here. Nice top grain leather, really feels very, very well made. Inside, you've got this cream colored paper, and it is lined. Not numbered, just very standard. In terms of lay flat, it's not the most lay flat notebook I've ever seen, but it's really not all that bad. I haven't broken in the spine significantly, but it is fairly well broken in. Now, I don't know how well you'll be able to see this. Let me see if I can refocus the camera here. There we go. It is a glued notebook. It is not stitched, so you can see that it's kind of glued here. And then the covers are kind of attached to the leather cover. Got the Made in Italy stamp. Oh, got to refocus again. There we go. Got the Made in Italy stamp there in the back. It says Well Managed Forest. And so this is, it's really quite a very well constructed and I think very attractive notebook. The paper feels nice and thick. It is a little textured, not super smooth like something like a Rhodia would be. Unfortunately, I did not find this notebook to be particularly fountain pen friendly. And despite one of my more recent videos where I'm like, I just used a ballpoint, I'm not a regular ballpoint user. I'm still mainly a fountain pen user, and fountain pen friendliness is pretty much the most important aspect for me when it comes to any paper product. And so here you can see I've just done it. I said this is the Life Art journal. That's incorrect. It's a Leatherkind journal. And it does feather and bleed. So here is the 88 Nebulosa with a medium nib. And I'll cut in some photos, some close-ups, so you can see how the ink works here. That one was actually okay in terms of feathering and bleeding. There was not a lot of feathering there. The Sailor 1911 Large with the hard medium nib on Monteverde Malibu Blue, this ink actually did pretty well on the paper. We start running into problems with some of the wetter nibs. So this is my 1937 Parker Vacuumatic Oversize with the stub nib and Diamine Ancient Copper. And we start to see some pretty heavy feathering here. Then the real test in my book of any paper is how does it deal with flex writing. So flex writing is not great here. So this is not the wettest flex, but pretty heavy feathering there. You can see here on the Kanalea Kahakai, also pretty heavy feathering. And then my Pelikan M800 Brown Tortoise. So there's some feathering there. It's not terrible, but it's also not great. In terms of bleed, I'm going to flip over to the other side here, and this is where I was actually pretty disappointed. I don't mind a touch of feathering, but bleed is a problem for me because it means I can't really use the backside of this page. So you can see the bleed through here, even a little bit here, which is one of the ones that did better. There's some show through here. It's not really bleed through. This is the Sailor that I showed you on the previous page. And you can see some show through there, but it's not terrible. Again, the wetter the pen, they start having problems. So that's the Parker Vacuumatic, the Scriptorium custom pen, the Kanalea Kahakai, and the Pelikan M800. So you can see that this paper does not love wet pens. It's not too bad, and I could get away with it on this, like this hard medium on the Sailor 1911. That's usable. Even that on the Aurora 88 is pretty darn usable. It's not too bad there. So if you were going to use this notebook or you're going to use a fountain pen in this notebook, I would suggest that what you want to do is go with a finer line or a drier pen or a drier ink, because this is not, I would not consider this paper super fountain pen friendly. It's not terrible. I've used a lot worse, but it was a little disappointing to me. In a journal this nice, that's one thing that I wish would have been just a touch better, was the paper for fountain pen use. So now let's talk about price. This Leatherkind journal, the Cortana, comes in a couple different sizes. There's an extra large size, which is like an A4 size, and then this size, the large, which is like an A5. The large comes in a few different colors, and it retails for 29 euros. Now that brings itself out to around, at the time of this recording, around $35 US. It's a little on the pricey side for a notebook. Not for a leather-bound notebook of this quality. That's absolutely in keeping with what I would totally be willing to pay for this. The construction is fantastic, and I plan on continuing to use this journal. I like this journal a lot. I will not use it for my day-to-day writing. This will probably become a little bit more like a scrapbook type book for me. I will use this to put ticket stubs from the Broadway shows I go to, or quick notes, quotes, things like that now that I do have a roller ball that I like, that retro 1951 with the Kermit on it, I would use that for something like this. But if you're going to do a lot of writing with a fountain pen, unless you like fine lines on your pens, like if you use an extra fine or a fine nib regularly, I think this would be a great option for you, especially if you like a little more texture in your paper. If you're like me and you tend to use mediums or broads or really wet, juicy nibs, this probably is not the right option for you because of the feathering and the bleed through. All right, well, I think that will do it for this review of the Leatherkind Cortana from Central Crafts. Huge thank you again to centralcrafts.co.uk for providing this journal for review. If you have any questions or comments, leave them here on YouTube or on penhabit.com, where you will also find some other additional photos, including close-ups of the writing and the stitching and construction of the notebook. And I think that should do it. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you here soon on another video. Take care. Bye.